hope, we can trust Jesus. That's right. And I'm going to teach you today's verse. Are you guys ready to learn today's verse? We're going to do it with our motions, okay? It comes from Matthew again, just like every verse we've had. And it goes like this. And his name will be the hope of all the world. Let's do that again. Ready? And his name will be the hope of all the world. And that is from Matthew 12:21. Let's try it all together. So not repeating anymore. We're just going to try it all together. Ready? And his name will be the hope of all the world. That's right. Now, in our video that we just watched, they were talking about how when things get hard, our hope that we have in Jesus can help lift us up and can give us strength and courage when we have hard times. And there's a lot of hard times that we're going to have. We talked about that a few times this week, right? Sometimes we feel alone. Sometimes we feel powerless. There's a lot of different things that can make us feel kind of down, right? But the hope that we have in Jesus, what is the hope we have in Jesus? Anybody know? What's the hope that we have in Jesus? Anybody know? Clues? Guesses? No guesses? The hope that we have in Jesus is that because Jesus loves us so much and he died for us, that we have a home in heaven one day, right? And at our heavenly home, there's no sickness, there's no sadness, there's no wars, there's no hard times, right? It's peace and joy and living with Jesus. That's our hope that we have in Jesus, that what we're experiencing now is not forever. Now, if you don't like loud noises, you're going to need to cover your ears. This balloon right here is going to kind of symbolize us without any hope. Some people don't know Jesus. Did you guys know that? Some people don't know about Jesus. They don't have the hope. And when hard times come, this pin is going to be our hard time. Now is your cue. Cover your ears if you don't want to hear it. Guess what happens to them? Boom. They pop, right? They have a really hard time. Now this balloon has something on it. What does it have on it? A cross made with tape, right? And this balloon is kind of like us when we have our hope in Jesus, right? And this pin is still our hard times, because you know what? It would be really nice if just because we followed Jesus, we had no hard times. But the Bible doesn't say that's true, right? Even those of us that follow Jesus are going to have hard times come. But when we have our hope in Jesus, he's going to give us strength, hopefully. Here we go. If not, we'll try it again. And when our hard times come, we can stand strong because we have Jesus in our hearts, right? And that's what it means to have hope in Jesus. Let's say our verse one more time. You guys remember it? And his name will be the hope of all the world. That's right. Very good. And that is today's sticky scripture. Now, eventually it does pop. You just have to ignore that part. It's science. It only works so well, right? Science and Jesus. Jesus is way up here, and science is just, we just try. Okay, now it is time for something we look forward to every VBS service, and that is our recap video. Now, this recap video is very special because for the first time, 2 of our volunteers made this video completely. So let's give a little round of applause for Clifton and Luis, because they put a lot of work in to making what you're going to see. And honestly, it's one of our best ones yet. So are you guys ready to hopefully see yourself? All right, if you see yourself, feel free to cheer, shout it out, or something you loved about VBS, you can give it a cheer. All right, here we go, our recap video. That was you, Brittany. Brittany's like, was that me? Yes, it was you. And then closing us off. All right. So as you can see, we had a fantastic week. And we did a big volunteer appreciation yesterday. But there's a couple of people that I want to mention today and also just recognize all of our volunteers one more time. If you were a volunteer for this year's VBS, if you will just stand in any capacity, station leaders, praise team. We had 104 volunteers this year, so obviously there's a lot of them who are not in here right now, but we just want to thank them so much for making it possible. You guys can sit down. There's 3 specific people that I want to mention today because they're 3 people that you might not have known all the things that they did. The first one is Kelly. I doubt she's in here because she's dealing with the stuff out there. But Kelly fed our volunteers every single night. So if you just attended VBS, you had no idea, but 104 people, well, and then their kids and all. She fed about 130 people every single night, and so we want to shout out to her. We also want to shout out to Allison Casillas, that is Pastor Peter's wife, because she is the builder of that cabin right there. She built that, lets us use it. And then the last person that we want to shout out to is my mom, because my mom, Kim, does all the rest. She helped out in the imagination station, but her biggest part is all of this. Like, she made all these flowers out of like paper and skewers and lays and all the things that I absolutely cannot do. So those 3 people we really wanted to shout out because they're kind of behind the scenes. You don't always see them, but they have a big impact in what we do. All right, we are going to close with some songs. Then I have a couple of things to tell you. But other than that, if our praise team wants to come up, we're going to close with 3 songs. All right, another 3 of our favorites.
I'm gonna follow. I'm trusting you, God. You
Okay, you may all be seated for just a minute because I'm going to go through a couple things. At the end of Family Experience every day, we give a short, or every week, we give a short little thought. And today's thought is very simple. So this year's VBS was all about trusting Jesus, right? We said when we feel hopeless, we trust Jesus. When we feel powerless, we trust Jesus. And this week, a lot of crazy stuff actually happened in the world. But I was thinking last night, I didn't even have time to think about it or worry about it because I was so busy here, right? And I was like, isn't that how our life is supposed to be, right? That we are resting in Jesus, we're focusing on Him, that when crazy things are happening, we're like, you know what? It's happening, but Jesus is in control, right? We can always trust Jesus. So I hope that thought encourages you for literally the whole year, because that's VBS for the year, right? But as you hear things and as you think things, let's try not to get consumed by them, but just to rest in that world of just living with Jesus, right? Because He is our hope, He is our power, He is our strength. So that's my thought for you guys as we close today. Couple of quick things we want to let you know, if you'll put them up there so we can all follow along. Today we are taking down VBS after our main service, which is about to start. If you are planning to stay by to help, we'll have some food and then we'll take down. Father's Day celebration is going on out in the lobby. If you haven't had a chance to stop by, make sure you do. Next week, we have our mac and cheese potluck for Family Experience, and we have a summer worship session at James and Shayla's house. So, in order to find out about all of this stuff, we have a QR code in the back, and I'm also going to give it to you guys today because I have an Ernest tag. Remember, you guys are collecting the tags? I have one for Ernest today. I'm going to go to the back with them, okay? It has our QR code on it. You can connect with Family Experience. If you don't usually come for Family Experience, we hope you'll be back. We would love to have you every week. Lastly, there's a few lost and found items, a few volunteer thank yous that were not picked up, and they are in that back corner on a green table. So if you are a volunteer and you didn't get your thank you, or if you forgot a tag or something, check out the green table in the back. All right, we have a way that we always end Family Experience, and it goes like this. Some families are big, some families are small. God's grace keeps our families one and all. God bless you guys.